It's no secret that the opening scene to Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice, specifically Bruce Wayne's monologue, has been a source of confusion and misunderstanding for all fans, whether they are hardcore comic book readers or casual moviegoers. Today, I want to take some time, break down that monologue line by line, and help you gain a greater understanding of what those words mean and how they impact both Bruce Wayne's character and the overall story of the film. Hi, my name is Dean, and welcome to DC Chat, where we talk all things DC, and without further ado, let's get straight into this. So the first couple lines here are,
there was a time above, a time before. There were perfect things, diamond absolutes. Things fall, things on Earth.
And I want to start this video by saying that the overall, thesis of this monologue is to show how Bruce Wayne's character has changed over time from this young, sheltered 9-year-old to this grizzled, jaded, nearly 50-year-old man that we see for most of the movie. And I also want to mention how that the path that Bruce takes just in this short little scene here is very similar to the path that all of us take in the real world. All of us, including Bruce when we're young children, tend to see the world in a very simplistic sense when it comes to just moral issues. Black and white, this is right, this is wrong. And we have a really naive sense of how things are. We're very sheltered by our parents. As we grow older, we start to see that there's many shades of gray, that people do things that are wrong, that they know are wrong, whether it's stealing from someone or even killing someone in the case of Joe Chill with Bruce Wayne's parents. And we understand that that happens. That stuff is a reality. We wish it wasn't, but it's just true, and that's something we don't experience as a kid. We understand there's so many more shades of gray as an adult, that people do the wrong things for the right reasons and the right things for the wrong reasons, and just stuff like that. And as a result of Bruce's parents dying, he's exposed to that idea far earlier than he probably would have. I think he's around 8 or 9 in that shot, I'm not entirely sure. And what he's talking about here when it comes to diamond absolutes, that first part I just mentioned, that's when he's saying there's a time above, a time before. When he talks about the diamond absolutes here, that's what it all was, that there was a sense of right and wrong when he was younger that has since been blurred through his experiences, not only with his parents' death, but with, his experiences in Gotham City fighting crime with the police department and whatnot. And yeah, that's it kind of leads into the next part of the line here where it says, but things fall, things on Earth. That's largely referring to, the moral compass of adults, how they just do things that they know are wrong, but are, they somehow find a way to justify it within themselves, and that's just what he's referring to here, and that's just a sad lesson he's learned with Batman. And then next line here, and what falls is fallen. So I think what he's referring to here is that when someone falls to, a darker sense where they just do things that they know are wrong, then there's just no way to really recover them. And I understand why he's saying this, because he's probably experienced that with many of his former allies that have turned to villains. This isn't fully related to the movie, but take Two-Face from The Dark Knight, for example. He starts out as this beacon of hope in this really, dark time for Gotham City, how he's going to come in there and really take a leadership role, stand up to the mafia, fight crime, make the lives of the citizens of Gotham City better. But we see throughout the film that he gets corrupted by the Joker and just other forces at play in the city, and he becomes this shell of the man he once was, a monster almost, that he's just willing to kill people because he's just so enraged and angry. And that's that kind of person, that kind of villain is what Bruce is referring to here, that once you fall, there's just no way to redeem yourself. You succumb to the world around you, and there's just no way to stand up for that. And that's such a powerful idea that really shapes how he views Superman, because at the following scene where Superman's responsible for the death of all his employees, he just believes that that Superman is not able to redeem himself, that he's just this monster that needs to be dealt with. And he learned that lesson as a really young kid, and it's almost really sad in a way. And that's kind of all I have to say for that. As in the last line here, it says,
in the dream, they took me to the light. A beautiful lie.
And that is a really powerful line, because that, in the context of the film, it's when he falls into that pit and the bats are flying around and they lift him up towards the light. So I believe this is kind of goes towards when Bruce is a younger man, where he first takes on the Batman persona. He believes that if he fights crime, if he puts people in jail, if he just eradicates the poor and just bad element of Gotham City, that the city will be better, that he will have atoned for his parents' death. That's the whole point of his thing as Batman, that it would somehow redeem himself in a moral way, that he would I guess be free from all the pain he's experienced from his parents' death. Like the whole the evidence of PTSD we clearly see throughout the film, where he's using drugs, drinks alcohol excessively, has a lot of PTSD stuff. Like, for example, the word Martha, almost a trigger word for him, as we see during the fight with Superman, where he says that word and all those images of his pain and sadness just flicker through his head. And that's the whole thing. It's a beautiful lie. He was naive enough to believe it was so simple, just doing this one thing would help atone for the sins of the other people in Gotham City, but it just wasn't true. Because you think about this, a beautiful lie, that seems a bit contradictory, doesn't it?
That's the opposite of what the saying is.
Like, lies are definitely not beautiful. They're just really horrid and bad. And that's the thing. He realizes that it's not so simple, that all he's gotten from this Batman role is just pain. He lost a Robin to the Joker. He lost his wife, maybe the only person he's truly loved, Selina Kyle, about 10 years before the main events of the film. All that Batman role has brought him is loss, pain, and grief. It has not redeemed himself at all. All that pain and suffering and loss has just brought him to this person he is at the beginning of Batman vs Superman, this jaded, cynical man who just doesn't believe in people and just the hope of change anymore. It's really atoned for in this line where he says,
Criminals are like weeds, Alfred. Pull one up, another grows in its place.
If you pull out one, another appears. He just doesn't believe that anything he does matters anymore. And I guess that kind of ties into another part of the movie, that maybe killing Superman is the only thing that he can do to really live up to his parents' legacy, because that obviously has so far failed with Batman. He hasn't, in his point of view, he hasn't done anything to make his city safer, and that's all comes from this one line here, a beautiful lie. He thought it was that simple, that if he just did this thing, he would feel better, but it just brought him more pain and loss. And it's such a powerful thing that really links into his treatment of Superman, his skeptical nature of him, despite all the great things that you see Superman do throughout the film, like save that girl from the burning building and rescue those people from the flood. And yeah, it's just a really interesting concept to deal with. So that's all I really have to say on this. I really hope that this video helped you gain a better understanding of what those lines really mean, because they really show a lot about the lessons that Bruce Wayne has learned about how he just doesn't trust people and just, I guess, idealistic men who pledge to fix something and then they just can't. They just fall corruptible to the whims of society, if you will, and it really leads to how he treats Superman, as I just kind of talked about. But yeah, I hope you all enjoyed this video. Thank you all so much for watching, and have a great day. Bye.